Dude, I'm sorry, but like I saw this and this low-key went kind of crazy. I just it's from I think a Japanese account that says, I learned about a food called Lunchables. I'm surprised that the food that Japanese people imagine they can eat in a future dystopia actually exists today. Leadables. I love lead in my Lunchables. Lead and cadmium and phthalates. My favorite. Guys, it's like it's never been more over. It's never been more over. Like this is I think
For some
the final boss.
mysterious reason, in the past few months, there's been loads of videos popping up all over social media of people buying what looks like fake food. It all started just a couple of weeks ago in the United States when several people started noticing that there was something off about the watermelon that they were buying on the supermarkets.
So I got this watermelon up, and I like to rinse my watermelon before I cut it, and it's like peeling. Does anybody has problems with their watermelon like this?
Yeah, that's what watermelon does. I don't know if that's when it's like overdone or when it's put in a freezer that's too cold, because a lot of the stuff ends up getting flash frozen. I found out about a lot of the fruits and vegetables that you eat just get flash frozen, and that ruins the texture on the outside. It's not weird. It's not bizarre at all. It's something to do with like the plant cells and how they work. When you freeze it, it like kind of ruins the cell and it makes it like deteriorate in a certain way. Like in the same way that like your skin can peel off. It doesn't mean that your skin is made out of fucking plastic. Like, where, what? It's that the ice expands and it bursts the cells. The cells swell and they break when they get frozen. That's it. It's not anything weird, okay, man? It's not anything that's weird happening. We're so divorced from the food growing and distribution process, we don't understand that they freeze stuff to ship it. I mean, people don't understand that the average tomato you find in the grocery store was pulled off a tree 8 months ago. Not a tree, not a tomato tree, but like a tomato plant or whatever you'd call it. Plucked off the tomato vine, whatever the fuck you'd call it. My apologies. I prefer cucumber trees. 8 months? Wait, what? What would I even search to... Your kid's making weird noises. Apples are 2 years old in a fridge before you buy them. How old is an apple at the grocery store? When it comes to fruits, vegetable and fruit news of the University of Maryland tells us that they typically are sorted into 2 baskets. Climacteric and non-climacteric. Non-climacteric fruits like cherries, grapes, and most berries do not ripen after harvest, which means that they must be harvested only when the fruit is fully ripe, and they need to be consumed fairly soon after the purchase or harvest or purchase, as they will get softer and begin to rot as they age. Climacteric fruits like apples, peaches, bananas, and avocados, on the other hand, continue to ripen after harvest, meaning that there is a bigger window between harvest dates and optimal consumption dates. And then it goes on a little bit talking about the different types of fruits and harvest periods. And it says here, if apples are stored cold between 30 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit, their shelf life, what is that in fake Celsius numbers? 30 Fahrenheit to Celsius? That's -1 degrees Celsius, and that is 4.4 degrees Celsius. So -1 to 5, basically. Their shelf life can range from 1 to 12 months per the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture. That means the apples you see in the grocery stores could be up to a year old. And it's like that for a lot of fruits and vegetables at the store. That's why we get to enjoy fruits and vegetables year round. That's why we no longer have to wait for vegetables and fruits to be in season to enjoy them. Because fruits and vegetables do not persist in the winter. Did we all play Stardew Valley or no? You're not growing fucking tomatoes or whatever the fuck in winter. Certain fruits and vegetables have certain harvesting periods and certain growing periods. And certain ones don't ripen immediately. Like you can freeze them or put them in a cold environment and they can stay good for a very long time, which is why we get to enjoy fruits and vegetables year round, which is why you get to go to the grocery store and get apples year round. But that's also why the apples are going to be the best in fall. And it's because you can go to an actual, like, either an orchard or you can go to a farmer's market or even certain grocery stores. You ever notice how they bring out like the big bales or like the giant bins of apples? And it's because they have a huge harvest. Those are probably going to be better. That's why when you get fruits when they're in season, they taste better. That's why mangoes when they're in season taste so much better than the mangoes you buy in winter. Right? Like watermelon in the summer? Precisely. Technically, you can get watermelon year round, but if you get the watermelon at the right time, it tastes so much better. Orchid? Orchid? Isn't that what it's called? An apple farm? Is it pronounced in a different way? An apple orchard. Is it with a chi? Orchard?
Orchard.
Oh. Oh, look, another dumb word in the English language. You fucking got me, dude. Congratulations. I say like a K? Yeah. Oh, sorry. The CH actually sounded like a CH this time. My apologies. Sorry. Truly the dumbest language on earth. I mean, that's what happens when you hodgepodge a bunch of words together from different languages, right? Apple stems this time. Oh my God. English is dog shit. Yeah. Yeah. English is a dozen other languages in a trench coat. Yeah. Yeah. But moving on. Like these people are so divorced from their food and they're so divorced from their understanding of food. Like these people go to the grocery store. They've potentially never, ever, ever planted something in their life. And then they get concerned when they're like, dude, my watermelon is peeling. Can you believe it? It's like, yeah, I can believe it because they have to be put in a cold environment so they stay good for longer. That's what happens. Okay. Sure.
It sounds like the goat is dying.
There are dozens of videos where people buy watermelon from the supermarket and it looks strange. Sometimes it looks like plastic.
I don't even know what was wrong with that one. That one is fermenting, I think. I assume that one was put in too hot of an environment. And now there's like some pressure that was built up in there and now it's like going bad or something. And then this one is just like a watermelon that's not fucking ripe.
Sometimes it makes these weird noises and sometimes, or many times actually, it feels as if it's made out of rubber.
So I cut watermelon for my kids, and they're all bringing it right back, saying they don't like.
Look, you can tell that this watermelon is not ripe yet because she got too many clean cuts of watermelon. Like a good watermelon, it like starts to fall apart and is like dripping with like juiciness, juicy water juice. It's like chunky. You guys ever have like fresh watermelon? Has anyone had like the watermelon that's like off trucks? Mayor cat. And then Mayor Cat, and then what? What are you gonna do when I eat you, huh? You can go now. Ah. My bananas are green. Gotta be the CIA. Anyways, yeah, like, you guys ever have good watermelon, good fresh watermelon? That shit is like falling apart. Cutting it is almost impossible because it won't stay together in one fucking piece because it's so ripe. Versus an unripe fruit, which is always harder. Think about the difference between an unripe banana versus a ripe banana. Unripe bananas are like, you touch them and they like sag. Just touching them, like, they just want to become banana bread. An unripe banana is like, you could fucking kill someone. That would be a blunt object you could kill someone with. It's because it's starchy and because, like, the sugars haven't developed or whatever the fuck. Whoa, that's crazy. Unripened and ripened fruit taste different. Banana need Viagra. So ripe bananas are flaccid? Yes, exactly. But I kind of like low-key. I like it when the banana just barely turned yellow. High-key, though, high-key, I hate when bananas start getting specks on them. I'm not going to eat a green banana, but like when they just, the al dente bananas that they just turned yellow, this is the ideal banana for me. This is it. So like this is a perfect example. I like it right before, right when it's barely ripe. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Once you've gotten into ripe, I'll eat it, but I don't like it as much. Very ripe is I won't eat it. Very ripe is I'm waiting until it becomes overripe and creating banana bread. Banana PDF file? What the fuck? It's a banana! I'm allowed to like it that way. Unbelievable. In my own chat, what have I done wrong to deserve this treatment? You not like us. Actually, it's banana hebephile. Oh my God, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Like the texture. I've seen enough videos of people posting rubbery watermelon. I can't believe I got one. I got a rubbery watermelon. The texture is so weird. Like, you gotta bend it so far before it will break.
But it wasn't just rubbery. There was something else about the watermelon that was bothering a lot of people.
Okay, y'all, I threw this watermelon out over a week ago. It smelled really good. Bought it from Walmart. Cut it open, and it was like plastic. Tasting it was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, because it's not ripe. It probably tasted like nothing. That's probably the problem. It tasted like nothing because it's not ripe. That would be like chewing into a green banana and being like, this doesn't taste sweet. I can't believe this. What? Look at how horrible this looks after I leave it in the wilderness for a week.
I didn't really know what to do with it, so I threw it outside. This is a week later.
It sounds like even the bugs know that shit ain't ripe. They're like, bruh, I can't eat this. Bro, it just tastes terrible. Put it back in the watermelon. Let it cook a little. What the? Even the ants and flies don't want it, yeah.
It looks like mud. What's going on?
It was pretty obvious that there was something off about the watermelon and a lot of people were noticing it. But here's the thing,
noticing.
It wasn't just the watermelons.
There you go.
People were also noticing the same thing happening with avocados, blueberries, bananas, and the list goes on.
We got it from the supermarket, but when she opens it and she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue. It's very tight and doughy. It looks very, very fake and Play-Doh.
In this next video, Ari Osborne explains how she bought blueberries in the supermarket. When she gave it to her kid, she noticed that one of them looked like it was made out of rubber.
I'm kind of low-key a little concerned that that's just like a plantain and that's just like the starchiness of it. And that this is like rage bait because they know people are, because when bananas get this spotty, when normal bananas get this spotty
From the supermarket,
they usually have like little spots on them inside. Like there's little brown spots inside and they're like mushy.
but when she opens it,
I said that earlier. Also notice that he pauses and instead of saying Publix or Kroger's, he says supermarket.
she breaks it in half, it gets very tough and doesn't really
How would you know if you never let yours get this ripe? Because I make banana bread, okay?
break. And when it pulls, it's like it's glue. It's very
That's
tight and doughy. It looks very, very fake and Play-Doh.
In this next video, Ari Osborne explains how she bought blueberries in the supermarket. When she gave it to her kid, she noticed that one of them looked like it was made out of rubber. Check this out.
What's left in her little bowl, and I put it down the drain for the garbage disposal. And I push the button, you know, it's doing its thing, but there's a clanking and it sounds like something's stuck. So I go in the drain and there's a blueberry that's not breaking apart. It's not, I pick it up and why is there a rubber blueberry in my toddler's snack?
She cut it in half and it actually looks as if it's made out of silicone or something like that. Strange, isn't it?
Do these people know that there is a legal limit to stuff that's not food that's allowed to be in your food? Like there is a legal limit on how much poop, like how much rat turd is allowed in your cereal. Guess what? This shit is packaged in a factory. So let's just pretend that that's not a fake video for a second. Let's just pretend that that's not a fake video, okay? Let's pretend that that isn't a TikToker that's trying to get TikTok famous by cashing in on like this plastic food drama, okay? You know that there's sometimes stuff inside of your packaged food that's not food. That it happens sometimes, that sometimes stuff that's not food ends up in your packaging. That's why you're supposed to wash your food and check it and make sure that it's safe. What?
But it gets even stranger. In this next video, a woman tests out the food in the supermarket using a magnet, and this is what happens.
Look at this shit. Put a magnet.
This is probably top 10 stupidest things I've ever seen. When she pulls the magnet off, you can see sometimes, this is actually why I hate buying chicken breast. Sometimes the chicken breast has this like chicken breast liquid on top of the packaging because a different package like broke on it.
Look at this shit.
You see the other piece of the magnet.
Put a magnet.
There's moisture on the magnet. That's why it's stuck on it. That's why it's stuck on it.
That I got from here into the great chicken.
Yeah, or alternatively, there's like a very strong magnet on the other side and she's not showing us the other side. Also, yeah, it's called cling wrap.
After these videos were posted and became a viral sensation, it made a lot of people ask the same question. Are we possibly eating fake food? What's your take?
Omega. You know it's real because they put the scary music behind it. That's how you know. Personally, me, if you can put scary music behind something, I believe it immediately, instead of maybe questioning that there's a financial incentive for people to create content that promotes conspiracy theories. It can't be that someone is making money off of these videos. It must be that my fruit is now made out of plastic. It can't be that microplastics are in our water, in our air, in our lungs, in our bloodstream, in our balls, and probably in our fruit, which is probably also changing the structure of the fruit. It must be that they're making this fake plastic food to indoctrinate us. Obviously. Duh. Like what? It's just it's so stupid. It's so dumb. Your balls, Denims. My balls are plastic free. Thank you very much. Oh God. Also, it could be that plants are receiving too much of a certain nutrient at a disproportionate rate to everything else. I would compare it very similar to, like, just in general, when you GMO things, sometimes other things happen that you didn't expect or anticipate, but it didn't really impact anything. So, for example, food that's GMO to last longer. If you grew in your own personal garden with your own soil and your own water and your own seeds, and you grew your own tomatoes, chances are those tomatoes, if you leave them out, they should start getting moldy pretty fast. You go to the grocery store and you buy a tomato, you leave it on the shelf with the same tomato that you grew, the store one is going to last longer because it's made to last longer. For feeding the population. You can even rubberize a bone by leaving it in vinegar overnight. I mean, it's all just like, did these people just not take chemistry? Like, I don't remember a lot from chemistry. Okay, I will be very honest with all of you. But I remember the difference between, oh man, I guess I don't remember. There are the two main reactions, and there are like physical reactions and like chemical reactions. And when certain elements interact, something new happens. You don't think that maybe that's what's happening? You don't think that maybe this is something above your pay grade? Maybe? Maybe? There's a lot of chemistry between you and chat. No, it must be that the fruits are woke. It must be that the fruits are woke. Now that Chevron versus natural resources has been overturned, our food is actually definitely going to be plastic. Yeah. I like how the Supreme Court is just totally fucked now. Like, this is the country we live in. And it's in America, it's illegal to sleep outside, even if you don't have a home. In a 6-2 decision, the High Court reversed a ruling by a San Fran-based appeals court that found outdoor sleeping bans amount to cruel and unusual punishment. TLDR, Supreme Court is now allowing cities to ban homeless people from sleeping outside. It's like the cheese that's so fake it doesn't melt. That is a perfect example. It's like you don't understand food science well enough to be commenting on this shit. How about you go learn anything about food science and then, with your knowledge, upload content or whatever and be like, hey, it looks like a lot of the food is becoming this way or this way. Like, it's not that American cheese is plastic. American cheese might act like plastic, but that's because of the low what is it called? Not fat content because it's very melty, right? You friend who got a D- in science wants to tell you about food conspiracy. Yeah. American cheese is just cheese with an emulsion with water. It's the low moisture content. Yes. Thank you. Low melting point and emulsifiers. Yeah. That's why it acts that way. That's why it acts that way. Then have you considered I follow all the science I hear on TikTok, even the people that contradict each other? Fuck. Shit. You're right. You got me. Fuck. Fucking owned me, dude. Owned me. So, are you guys ready to start breathing in smog again? Are you guys ready to start breathing in smog now that corporations get to decide how regulations look in this country? I'm gonna be honest. System sounds. What is this? What the? Whoa, 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 whoa. No, I do not listen to system sounds. Thank you very much. I thought you'd never ask. I love smog. Yeah, in case anyone was curious, this is actually probably the worst thing that's happened, and is potentially the worst thing that we've been alive to see. The Chevron, no. I'll just look up Chevron case. They after you, Denims. Oh, fuck. You're right. It totally guts all the climate laws. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. There you go.
A very big decision from the Supreme Court overturning Chevron NRDC. For that, we'll turn to Eamon Javers. Hey, Eamon.
Karl, that's right. This is a sweeping decision by the Supreme Court to overturn what's called the Chevron precedent here. The reason it's significant is because it has enormous implications for the administrative state in the United States of America and all federal agencies and their ability to interpret the law. What the Chevron precedent was a 1984 case from the Supreme Court, which held that in absence of other information, courts should give deference to administrative agencies' interpretation of the law. That gave a huge area of wiggle room for federal agencies to interpret what Congress meant when it passed given laws, if there was any gray area in those laws. What the Supreme Court is now saying this morning in a 6-3 decision is that courts may not defer to an agency interpretation of the law simply because a statute is ambiguous. Chevron, they say, is overruled. Again, that is a 6-3 decision. One interesting point here, going back to the Chevron case originally in 1984, the Supreme Court writes, Chevron decided in 1984 by a bare quorum of 6 justices triggered a marked departure from the traditional judicial approach of independently examining each statute to determine its meaning. So some skepticism here of whether that case was originally decided correctly. The Supreme Court now saying it was not. Chevron is overturned, and there's going to be enormous questions now, Karl, for administrative agencies across the federal government as to how they move forward with interpreting rules when there is a gray area in the law. A lot of uncertainty now for federal agencies, Karl. Back over to you.
And Eamon, is the idea that they would have to continually check back with Congress, or is it just up to Congress to kind of micro-legislate all of these elements?
Yeah, look, I mean, we're going through this decision here this morning, and we're going to see if the Supreme Court is giving any guidance here. But, I mean, one option would be that Congress has to go in a detailed way and detail all the stuff that regulatory agencies have been doing between 1984 and until today. Another option would be that, the federal agencies would get some deference unless there was a lawsuit challenging that. We'll have to see what the Supreme Court said. There's a lot of fallout here still to come. But Chevron being overturned is a significant development we should pay some attention to this morning.
Isn't that wild? The decision more or less says that agencies don't interpret laws. The courts have to. If ambiguity needs to be clarified, it's legislative responsibility. And I'm sorry, when did we start trusting Congress to make good decisions? Like, Congress does not vote in the people's interest. it just, they never have, actually. Sorry. Gorsuch based his decision in the Chevron case on continuing the relevant gas to the case with laughing gas. Wait, what do you mean? Politicians making decisions affecting our well-being instead of experts? What's new? Congress with its 16% approval rating. There are far more serious problems with today's decision. In the Ohio v. EPA, saying EPA's good neighbor rule, but Gorsuch's opinion refers 5 times to nitrous oxide, aka laughing gas, rather than the entirely different chemical compound, smog causing nitrogen oxides, actually at issue in the case. Nice. Scientists studying and researching for years, passing competitive interviews, having to provide rigorous, well-evidenced, defensible, high-level work. Neil, there's free laughing gas in the air. Go get a root canal on the highway. You remember when, like, the whole point of government bodies was to assign people in those government bodies who knew what they were fucking talking about? It's like, okay, well, we're not scientists, so it doesn't make sense to delegate that power to us. We should delegate that power to people who actually study this field, and we should hire the people who are the best at science, or whatever the fuck that means. Okay, it seems like you know a lot about this whole environment thing. You seem to do a good job explaining it all. Well, what do you think we should do to stop this problem? If this is a severe problem, what should we do? You know, like nerds. And then we did what they said we should because they knew more than we did on that topic. And now it's like the guy who's trying to make as much money as possible is making the rules. Guys, I guess. Truth the Troll, thank you so much for the prime. Or we could delegate it to people that give us money. It's such a difficult decision. Have the Supreme Court make the decisions, have Congress make the decisions, or some money-hungry fuckers make the decisions? Don't worry, gratuity is allowed now. You can tip a politician after helping you. Politicians be like, what if we made baby formula more expensive? And then they spin the iPad around and they're like, a 20% tip? Perhaps. Maybe. For our hard work. For our amazing hard work. And the worst part about it, too, is that I hate to be the person to say it, but, like, Congress is fucked. It's over. Like the meme on that branch of government, it's been over for a while. And now the judicial branch is also fucked. And after Trump gets elected, unfortunately, the executive branch is also going to be fucked. But let's just stick to Congress for a second, right? All of the people, Congress suffers the same problem that police precincts suffer. Which is all of the people who go in who actually want to try and change the system from the inside quickly become disillusioned and realize that they can't fix the level of greed around them. And then they dip. So you just end up having a bunch of power-hungry freaks making and upholding the law. And the people who actually should be in those positions of power and the people who actually want to help the people realize they can't get anything fucking passed ever. It's just, it's super broken at this point, in my opinion.